Hello, students. Well, this is, we're working on chapters 3 through 5 in When Stars Are Scattered. So if you haven't got your books, go get your books quick. Make sure your Schoology app is open so that you can work on things. And then let's get started. If you need to, stop the video and get right back. Okay? All right, here we go. So one of the first things I show is that strong readers like to visualize. That means we like to try and see how something that we're reading works with our life. Like the refugees. Many of you have come from other countries and you understand maybe what Omar and Hassan are going through. So that we be being able to visualize the story. Predict, what do you think is going to come next? Okay, where we left off in the story last, they were with Fatuma and thinking about their mother, Huyo. And what do you think is going to happen next? This person over there, Omar's friend Jerry, has come to him and talked about school. And Omar had no intentions of going to school, did he? And why didn't he want to go to school? Do you remember? Next, connect. How do the different things in our story connect? Who's Fatuma? Where did she come from? How did Omar and Hassan end up in Somalia in this camp of Dadaab? So think about those connections and the journeys that they made. Ask questions if you're not sure about something. When you get in your little group discussions or your parents share, ask your partner if you have a question. See if you can find the answers in the book. Write down the question maybe, and we can talk about them later in a class discussion. And then last, summarize. At the end of every week, we're going to get together and we're going to summarize, or we're going to talk about what we learned that week. What did we learn in the story? What's been happening in the story, so that we all make sure that we're understanding what's going on, all right? Excuse me. All right, so the first thing now, after having read chapters 3 through 5, you could stop the video, make sure you've read, do the worksheet that's listed in Schoology, and then come back. All right, so now we're going to work on vocabulary. Several words, and they kind of all sound alike. Even their definitions sound alike, but they're all a little bit different. Refugee, asylum seeker, displaced person, and host country. Excuse me. Got a little tickle now going on. So a refugee is a person who's been forced to leave their home country, typically due to war, violence, or persecution, and seek safety in another country. Excuse me. So some of you maybe have undergone that. There was a war going on in your country, and that's why your family decided to leave. Or maybe it was for a religious thing. Your country didn't like what you were leaving, so they were going to maybe come and hurt you or your family, so you chose to leave. So that would be a refugee. A seeker is a little bit different. It's a person characterized by deep curiosity and a lifelong journey of exploration that they desire to learn more about themselves and the world. So that's just somebody that decides, hey, there's a big world out there and I want to know more about it. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go travel. I'm going to move from country to country, seeking something new, right? Maybe adventure, maybe excitement, just for exploring. Asylum. That's when a person that has left their country gets a form of protection. Let me start over. It's a form of protection that's granted to a person who has left their country because they're afraid of being persecuted or harmed. Okay, so it might be a refugee who needs to find a place to be able to go that is safe. Okay, that would be seeking asylum. A displaced person. That's a little bit different. It's someone forced to leave their home for conflict, violence, natural disasters, like maybe it's a flood, maybe it was a hurricane or an earthquake, which happens in a lot of countries. So those people have had to move somewhere else, but they've stayed in their own country. Okay, they weren't like chased out, but they were sort of forced out for some unknown reason, but they stay in their own country. A refugee now is someone who's leaving their country. All right, and the last word for today is host country. That's a nation that receives people from other countries, either for a short time or for permanently, for different reasons: work, study, or immigration. So America is a host country to many, many people that come here to go to college, especially people that want to be doctors, or maybe it's for industry. A lot of people from China come over to learn about agriculture so they can take it back to their country. Same with Africa, places that have deserts and maybe don't have a lot of water. They're trying to figure out how to make things better for their own country. All right. So that's our vocabulary. I would like you to stop the video now and sit with your partner and talk about them, and maybe write a sentence together using each one of those words, and let's see if you can kind of figure out what the differences are, okay? And when you're done, bring your paper up to me, or if you do it in Notability, that's fine, but bring it up and let's take a look at it really quick, all right? And after that, then you can come back and start your video again, okay? All right, now we're looking at a world map, all right? It's in your app in Schoology, so I'd like you to take a look at that. Put it in Notability so that you can label. On the map itself, I showed you that I want you to label the countries Syria, Afghanistan. These are countries that have really, really huge populations in our world. And then let's find Kenya, where Omar and Hassan are from, and Somalia, where they moved to, immigrated to. Let's find the United States. And then I want you to also find your birth country. Maybe you weren't born there, but if your family was born there, if it's Guatemala or Thailand, Ethiopia, okay? Then I want you just to circle them. If you can't quite find them, let's search Google, see if you can find it on a map, and then try to find a place that would look really close to it on this map, all right? So you can find your partner and work together. And when you're done, go ahead and just submit it in Schoology, and I will check it for you. And then you can go ahead and answer the questions next, all right? So you can stop the video and work on the map. All right. So next we have a couple of questions I'd like you to answer. So the first question is, what is one reason that someone might become a refugee? Now we went through our vocabulary words with the definitions. Some of those will help. And maybe from your own story, or maybe from Omar and Hassan, you can remember why they became refugees. Okay. So go ahead and write it on the page there. Make sure you put it in Notability. And then the second one is, how might a refugee feel when they leave their home, their loved ones, their life? How did you feel? So how do you think refugees feel? Maybe you didn't have to, but maybe your parents did. So how do you think they were feeling when they had to leave everybody that they loved? They left their home that they lived in. They leave their country that they love. What do you think's going on in their mind? So answer those two questions in Notability. Go ahead and submit them, and then you can be done for today. Okay, so stop the video and go ahead and work on those, and then we'll come back. Actually, I guess maybe not. I'm really sorry. When you're done with those, submit, and then go ahead and finish the exit ticket before you're done. All right. Okay. And last, the exit ticket. There's two things. One fact that I learned today. What's something that you learned in the story when you read, or when you was looking at the worksheets, or maybe looking at the world map? Give me something that you learned today. And then what's one question you might still have? Something you don't understand about being a refugee or leaving your country, or maybe what asylum is, maybe something about the map. So tell me one question you have. Go ahead and put that in Notability, fill it out. You can work with your partner, talk about things, but make sure the answers are your own, and then submit to Schoology, and then you are done for the day. Okay? All right. Thank you. Go ahead and stop the video.